welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through the things that I made in April. I know this video is a little bit late, but I've just been really busy, so just bear with me. So April and May time, especially May for me, is pretty revision heavy. So as much as I'd like to just be at my sewing machine in my happy place, I have to actually do quite a lot of work. So I haven't made as much as I would have liked to. I've still made quite a bit, and I probably won't make very much in May either. If I do make a lot in May, then I'm probably not studying as much as I should be. So I have my notes here, so if I keep looking down, that's why. So let's get started. I have made lots of brindle and twig patterns, first of all, so that's a disclaimer. So I'll start with ones that you've seen me, the pattern I've made before if you've watched my other videos. So first off is the summer romper. So I've made two of these in April. The first one I made with some leftover Peter Rabbit fabric that you've seen before in my other videos and some contrasting plain fabric. So I made that one for a friend, so I don't have it with me, but I'll pop a picture in. So the Peter Rabbit fabric I got from eBay. I'll link everything down below. That'll save me saying that over and over again. And the plain was just a plain poly cotton from a local fabric shop, and so that turned out really nice. And then the second one I've made I have here. So it's this lovely lavender colour, lilac-y lavender colour. And it's beautiful. I need a 9 to 12 month old baby girl to put this in. I have actually got this on my Etsy shop at the moment. My Etsy shop's like a new thing. So I've just started putting things on there that I kind of wanted to make but didn't have anybody specific to make them for. Floral is actually a fat quarter that I think was from Hobbycraft. And the plain is again just from a local store. So if you've never made brindle and twig patterns before, they're really easy to follow. When you print them, it's really good because you can, on Adobe Reader, she's done it so that you can print just the size that you want. The elastic in the legs are probably the hardest part if you've never done that kind of thing before, but once you crack it, they're easy. I'd really like to do the ruffles on the straps and maybe like across the butt, but I'm not quite sure how to do it, and I think I would need to like sit down and really tackle it, which I don't really have time for at the moment, but watch this space, I might get it done in the future. This time the spring romper. The spring romper is easier to do simply because of the leg elastics I find. So this time I hacked it into a dress instead of a romper, and this is how it turned out. I will insert pictures if you can't see that clearly. It's really cute, isn't it? And it's the first time I've used buttons instead of poppers, so that worked really well. The only thing is I forgot to put my button presser foot on my sewing machine, and I didn't realise that until I was making another garment yesterday with buttons and thought, why are these buttonholes so wonky? Because I didn't put the presser foot on. So they're a little bit, I don't know, they're fine. But does anybody have any tips for like these raw bits here? How to do it so that you get rid of them? So if anybody has any suggestions, tips, hints, that would be great if you could comment them below. So yeah, that's on my Etsy shop too, because I don't have any 0 to 3 month old babies to give this to, unless my baby turns out to be a girl and I still have this, then she will be going in it. So yeah, so to do the hack, basically you just, instead of cutting the shape of the legs, you just cut straight across the bottom, and then you hem it instead of elasticating. And I tried this hack because my friend wants a similar kind of style made for a little girl, and I wanted to kind of practice it first. So I'll be making that this month. It's dinosaurs. There is a spoiler for you. Okay, so the next thing I did, if you've watched my last video, you will have seen that I made some harem pants for my son. Now he loves them, but they're quite, it sounds awful, but they're quite girly on him, and they were really quite baggy and they didn't really fit very well, and he loves them and he scruffs about in them, but I wasn't very happy with him in them. So I went for the retro sweats, and here they are. So I made them up in this fabric that I got from Fabric Cotton Direct, and it's this really cool cars and kind of like squares, and they're really cool, and the shape is a lot better, a lot more bowy, but I had problems with the fit. So he is a 5 to 6 leg and only a 3 to 4 waist. He's very skinny, so I had to do a 3 to 4 size waist and then kind of grade out, and they're fine, but again they look like pyjamas. So it's like a French terry. Is it a French terry that I've used? Yeah, it's a French terry that I've used. Lovely and soft, lovely and comfortable. But if you're not careful, they do look like pyjamas. So I think I'm going to just steer away from trousers at the moment, because I think if I made them in a plain colour, like a block fabric, they would be fine. But then that's boring, isn't it? I could buy them from the shops, and I really don't like making things that I could buy from the shop for like a £5. And I've moved on to tops. So again, from Brindle and Twig. By the way, I'm not affiliated with them at all. I just, they're kind of my go-to patterns for kids, them and Puparita. So then I made they have a free t-shirt pattern. It's called the Ringer Tee, and it can be made in short sleeves or long sleeves. So I made, in the same fabric, not to be worn together because that would look silly, this. So it's called the Ringer Tee, but I've made this out of French terry and ribbon, obviously, and it's more like a jumper, like a lightweight jumper that can be worn in the spring. It's really nice, it's really lightweight. The only problem I had with this was the neckline was really gaping. I'll insert some pictures, and I couldn't figure out whether that was the sizing again. So Brindle and Twig sizes, they do come up quite big, so if you're going to make them, don't just make them in the standard size that you would buy. Make sure you measure the kids first. Yeah, this is a really cool, like, it's not a sweater pattern, but it turns out to be a sweater if you use the right kind of fabric. This time shorts. So these are the edgy shorts. So last week or the week before, we had a really sunny day, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, and my son had no summer clothes whatsoever. So what do? I sewed him up some. So did a little bit of research and picked the edgy shorts, and they were really easy to make, So these are the result. So you might have seen this fabric before. It's like mystical dragons, dinosaur kind of things, and my son picked this fabric himself, and I've made hair and pants out of it. And I've also made something else out of it, which will be on my May video. And I've got like 3 garments out of a metre, and that's a lot really, isn't it? I'm quite new to making kids clothes, and I didn't really realise how little fabric they need, so it's really good. And if you're a beginner, it's really good because you can buy less fabric. They are quicker to print, they're quicker to put like tape together, they're quicker to cut out, and they're quicker to make. So these are really good. So the edges are meant to be left raw, the edgy bottoms. But there are a couple of stitches that I haven't done on them, just because I didn't know how to do them and I didn't have time to YouTube them at the time, and I just needed to get them on him because he was boiling and we were going to go in the garden. So they do need finishing, but they look fine. Again, I had to do the smaller waist, and then I graded out, but I don't think I graded out enough. So they are a little bit tight around the crotch area, which could be to do with the fabric as well, because it's quite like a tight jersey. So what I'll do next time, I think, is I'll cut the 5 to 6 size, but with a 3 to 4 waist, and I won't bother grading. I'll just give it a go and see how that turns out. So yeah, really happy with them. He's really happy with them. They're very unique. No one's going to have another pair like that. So that's all my Brindle and Twig and kids patterns done. So now I'm going to move on to adult patterns. So the first thing I made was a maternity top, and this was from a vintage pattern. So I'll insert the pattern here. So this is the first time I've ever used a vintage pattern, and it came and I read through it and was like, what? Didn't understand a lot of it, because like some of the bits was like apply the interfacing but baste stitch it on, whereas obviously now you get iron on interfacing. But I followed it step by step because I thought, right, I'm going to follow it step by step, and then next time I can kind of do it like in the ways that I know. So the interfacing was just all wrong. I asked my mum for so much help with this. So she used to sew back in the day. She wasn't an expert or anything, and it was about 30 years ago. But together we kind of muddled through it. So thank you. But the neck facing and stuff, it was just, the instructions were quite hard to follow. And in the end, I went back to the instructions from my Blossom top from Sew Over It to apply the neck facing, and that worked quite well. And then the interfacing I went back over and ironed, so I wouldn't need to tack. You don't need to tack that on, you could just iron it. I find when I wear this, it reminds me of like Princess Diana when she was pregnant with William and Harry, like that kind of like vibe it's got going for it. It's really comfortable to wear. It's really cool to wear as well. When we had that really hot day, I kind of sat out in it with like shorts on, which made me look naked, obviously. But it was really comfortable. The only thing was there was no like guides for the buttonholes. So I kind of just winged it, and some of the buttonholes ended up way too big, and so the buttons keep like undoing, which is not ideal. The other thing that I haven't hemmed it either, you'll see in the photo. The other thing that I wasn't keen on was the neckline. So it kind of looks, it's supposed to be left like that, but it looks unfinished. So I have ordered some bias binding that I'm going to attach to it, and then I'll show you in my next video, because this video will probably go up before the bias binding comes. But I'll show you in my next video how I got on with that. I've never used bias binding before, so that'll be an experience. But yeah, it was a pain to put together. It took me, I might make one more actually now that I kind of know what I'm doing a bit more. I've got 6 weeks left of pregnancy, so I don't want to be making like too many maternity things, but I suppose with this I can kind of wear it direct, like straight after as well. It would be a bit like a tent, but it would be really comfortable. The fabric that I used from this one was from Minerva Crafts, and it was inspired by this photo here. Obviously I don't look anything like the model, but that kind of like spot, like red polka dotty kind of print is what I was going. The next thing I made, the last thing I made, we're on to the last thing, was the Sew Over It Eve dress, and I absolutely love this. I'm so happy with how this ended up. Like, it's the first thing that I've made and then put on and was like, I'm 100% happy with this. And I felt amazing in it, and I posted it on the Sew Over It Makers group on Facebook, and it's got like 200 likes, and not that that's what you do it for, but like so many people saying, oh, you've inspired me to make one, and I just thought that's really nice. Like, that's what the sewing community is all about, isn't it? Inspiring each other. So that was really nice. I got the fabric from Minerva Crafts because I did buy some fabric from a local shop for this make, but I really like the fabric, and I thought, oh, I'm going to kind of try and make a wearable toile first. So I bought this fabric, and I really like it. I made it with the longer sleeves because I thought I could then use it like in the autumn. I didn't make any alterations for it being pregnant. If you look at the hem, it's got like a high-low hem on me, but that's just because my bump pushes it out. But if you're not pregnant, then that's the level hem version that I did. There is a version on there that is a dipped hem, but I just did the level hem. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed making this. I found it really easy to follow the instructions. was really quite a therapeutic make. It's the first time I've actually bothered like hemming anything. So, you know, that says a lot. I'm really happy even with like the insides and like all the inside seams. I overlocked them. They're really nice. I'm really happy with them. Yeah, what else? Oh, the only thing I wasn't happy about, I know I said I was 100% happy and clearly I'm not, was the hole where the tie wraps go through. So, I don't know, I haven't quite done that right somehow, and it's like a little bit gaping. So I need to fix that, but I'm not really sure how, and at the minute I'm not really bothered. I just wear it anyway, it's fine. Yeah, so if anybody has made the Eve and has tips on how to make that hole less gaping, that would be really helpful. The stay tape for the neckline I got from Minerva Crafts. It's different from the one I've used before. Before I ordered one that was kind of like supposed to be iron-on, but it was basically just like sticky. It was weird. And this was like a woven like fabric stay tape, and I found it a lot better, and it worked really well. What else? It was a really easy pattern, but if you are a brand new beginner, I wouldn't say it should be your first pattern, because you need quite a lot of fabric for it. So it asks for about 3.5 meters. So you do need to buy like 4, depending on where you buy it from, if they don't do half-meter increments. I think now that I've made it, I could probably squeeze it onto 3 meters, which is what I'm going to try and do with the other fabric I have. But the pattern pieces are like really large. So I didn't print mine. I ordered the actual physical pattern from Minerva Crafts. And I'm so glad I did, because that would have taken so long to print out and tape together. And I'm kind of over that at the moment. So yeah, the pattern piece is really big. So the lay plans for putting the pattern on the fabric is not the easiest. So if you're a brand new beginner, I wouldn't suggest that as your first project. But once you've made a few things, like I was really surprised at how easy I found it. And it kind of made me really proud to think how far I've come in such a short time, that I can make something like that and that looks like that. And it's the first thing that when people have said, oh, that's like really nice, I can't believe you made that I've been like, yeah, I did, like really proud. Whereas the other things I'm like, oh yeah, but if you could see like the seams inside, or I've bodged this bit, or didn't really. But this, I was really happy and followed the instructions, everything was perfect. So I'm really happy, and I'm going to be making at least like 12 more. Because they're like a wrap over as well, so after I've had the baby, I'll be able to wear it when I'm nursing, is what I hope. Because that's kind of what I'm looking for at the moment, is like things I can wear afterwards, because I've only got 6 weeks left, so I don't want to make. I'll probably make one of those vintage maternity blouses, and that'll be the last maternity thing I make, probably. Just because I won't get a lot of wear out of it, even if we have another baby. I'm back. Sorry about that little weird break there. My phone died and I didn't realise, and I'm just chatting away to myself here, and then when I went to check it when I was finished, it was dead. Yeah, so even if we have another baby, it's going to be in a few years, and the thought of having to do all that work at my sewing machine and then the garment be put in the garage until, you know, if and when we have another baby, is quite sad. So the things I'm looking at making at the moment are sort of things that will maybe suit me now when I'm pregnant, but more so after I've just had the baby. So anything with like buttons or wraps or anything like that, so I can easily nurse. So if anybody has any suggestions or ideas, that would be amazing, because there's not a lot of like nursing friendly things on the high street, never mind in patterns. So yeah, so the last thing is just a little bit to say about my next video and kind of what I'm planning to do with this channel. So at the start of the month, I'm going to do a mix video from the last month, so that's what you're watching now. And then in the middle of the month, I will put up like a sew down kind of video. So anything new that I have, like tips that I've learned, things that I've been reading, things I've been listening to, new people that I'm following on YouTube or Instagram, any sort of inspiration that I've kind of found through the month. and then kind of things that I'm looking forward to, like doing like new ideas and new inspirations and stuff. So that's kind of my plan for the channel at the moment. I hope that people will enjoy that kind of schedule, and if it doesn't work then I can change it up, that's fine. But right now I think every sort of 2 weeks is manageable for me and kind of keeps me in touch with you all. And I think like a list of all the things that I've been doing and seeing and sewing to kind of inspire other people, because I love that kind of thing. Like if I watch a video and somebody says, oh, I've been listening to this, or I've been reading this and it's been really good, then that gives me an idea to go and do the same thing. So that's kind of what I hope to get from it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Sorry about the little technical difficulty. I hope you enjoyed my makes. I hope I've inspired you to go and make something now. Go and be creative. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!